Hello everyone, my name is Yvan Genver, and today I will talk about Black Box service fusing over custom network protocol. Behind this complicated title, we basically this is our journey in the fusing area for a completely noob guy. So uh, let's jump. One slide about me. So I work for Onapsys at the research lab. I'm a security researcher, so my daily job is to find vulnerability, and so I'm already involved in few vulnerability, and most of them, basically all of them, was related or in the SAP system or SAP components. So this is my scope is the SAP system. All right, this is the agenda for today. To basically to be simple, we would like to share our experiences about fusing of a network protocol, and so we will try to describe step by step where we start, what kind of fuzzer we choose, and what kind of issue or problem we get, etc., etc. So, as an introduction, basically why we decide to jump in fuzzing area. First of all, by curiosity. So, because I heard a few friends who fuzz a lot of things, a lot of binary. Basically, they do it for all day long, and when we discuss together, we have some very interesting discussion about maybe I can find something over SAP protocol network because it's custom protocol and the black box services, etc., etc. Um, so we didn't find any previous public research about fusing services over SAP, and I will speak about SAP here because this is my scope, and we think SAP it's a good example. Let me just show you one screenshot. This is a result of the scan. If you run an Nmap on the SAP system, this is what you get for one SAP system. So only one SAP system expose all these ports, and beyond this port, there's of course some few services. Uh, there are some services and open ports where they use a very well known protocol, so HTTP, etc. But an SAP system, the by default, and this is normal, use several custom protocol and completely proprietary binary. So this is why we think it could be interesting to fuzz, and this is why we decide to do it. And also, uh, we hope SAP here it's a good example for different other target and etc. And because behind that, so this is how our knowledge. So because we work on SAP, so we know behind that we will speak about NQ services, message services, the sub gateway, etc., etc. So the first step when we start on it, the first step was to okay, we understand if you want to fuzz the services, we must have some test case, and as a test case here, we must have some packet, some traffic to the services. We need to grab the test case by sniffing the services and get something like that. So we would try to describe each default services opened by SAP, and we will try to explain what is it and how we sniff some traffic from them. So the first one is very easy. So this is a ICM. ICM stands for Internet Communication Manager. This is a web server hosted by the SAP system. So just sniff the port, open the browser, navigate a little, and you get normal HTTP packet. So okay, no, nothing crazy here. The NQ services. So the NQ services is the it's a little services. It's by default on whole SAP NetWeaver, and basically it managed the login process, the login table process. So how we achieve to have some traffic on these ports? Basically, we try to stop and start one application server in the whole SAP system, okay? And also we try to update a table. So we're logging into the SAP system and try to update one table and see what kind of packet come to the services. So we got a few packets like that. So it was not very complicated. The next one is the IGS. The IGS it's Internet Graphic Services. To be very simple, the IGS listen a few ports, and the goal of these services is to help the SAP system to convert image, to create zip file, to create a map or a lot of graphic, etc., some chart. And so how we do it, instead of sniffing the network interfaces, we sniff the local socket. So by default, it's in /tmp dot substring followed by the port. Then we're logging on the subsystem, and we use the IGS administration interfaces to perform some activity, and like that we generate some traffic, and we can sniff and get this packet of the IGS, and we get a lot of packet of the IGS. The next one is the SAP gateway. So the SAP gateway manage the communication between the SAP and the rest of the world. So how we manage to have some test case for the SAP gateway? Very simply, again, we log in the subsystem, and we try to communicate with another subsystem connected. Also, we try to use the SAP gateway administration interfaces and perform some health checks, some tests, etc. And like that, we got several packets again. The dispatcher basically manages the communication, not the communication, but yeah, it manages the request from the user. So very simply for this one, for the dispatcher, just sniff the dispatcher ports and try to log in with the SAP client. So very easy, we perform a successful login or one login, etc. And so like that, we got some packet like that. The message server again. So the message server, it's services again present by default. Every services we talk about today, it's present by default on SAP NetWeaver system. So the message server basically manage. Yeah, to be very simply, it manages the communication between several application server. So a user communicate with can communicate with the message server to know, okay, go to this dispatcher or this one, etc. So how we manage to have some traffic? Again, it's possible to have some traffic on the message server if you log in the system, like the dispatcher, and also we get another different packet when you try to restart one application server in the whole SAP system. So again, a few test cases was grabbed like that. Okay, it was a very easy part for us because we know our target, so we know how to generate traffic. This is not the easy part. Now we jump in a completely new part. We start trying to fuzz the packet we just get. Basically, we get the packet and we try to modify with some already well-known fuzzer, and very quickly we get faced to one big issue, and we call it the SAP any size problem. Let me show you. So this is a representation for most of the SAP protocol. The first 4 bytes of the packet is the size of the data contained in the packet for the protocol. So why it's a problem when we try to fuzz it with a completely dumb fuzzer? This is an example of the enqueue packet. Okay, this is the enqueue packet end check. So the first 4 bytes as I say, is the size of the content. And in this case, this is 5D, all right? This is in hexadecimal little endian, sorry. And if the further modifies the content by adding some data like that, just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 somewhere, the any size is not updated. And if you send this kind of packet to the services, the Intune services in this case, you get drop very, very quickly because this any size is the very, very first check done by the binary behind the services. This is a very, very first check is done. So if the size is not the good one, you get drop and you never go deeper in the binary with what you provide in the packet. So just for example, during our first test, we by studying more than 10 million tests, we get 0 crash. So why it's important? It's we would like to have a further or what we would like it to have something like that. If the further or if the tools had some data to the content of the packet, we must update the size, the field of any size too. So this is very important because when we try to select which fuzzer we will use in this research, we are this problem. It's the most important thing we get in mind. So we jump to the fuzzer selection. Uh, when you are completely noob in fuzzing area like us, and you try to Google it or to try to have some information or to gathering information about different fuzzer, etc. It was something like that. Like there are a lot of tools, a lot of everything, lot of tools, article, talk, training, everything. There are a lot of information and basically too much for us. uh, we haven't the time to read everything or to test everything, etc. So uh, at this time, what we decided, okay, let's do it step by step. First step, what is our target? Because our target also depend on what kind of fuzzer you will use. Because of course, if you fuzz a little open source library, one binary, for example, it's not the same if you fuzz remotely a black box, very big binary. And speaking of big binary or big stuff, an SAP system, it's a very big, it's a very big system. Uh, so behind each services, there are some binary involved in the services. All the binary in SAP system are in the same place and it's located what we call the SAP kernel. The SAP kernel is no more than a directory, but the directory uh, there are more like 700 file in this directory, library, binary, script, everything, and the size of this directory is close to 900 megabytes. And this is what we call the SAP kernel, and this is a huge target. So it's very complex. You can't yeah, it's very difficult to start, for example, only one services. If I want to start the NQ services, only the NQ services, this is not easy like just launch the NQ binary. This is not working like that. You need to set a lot of environment stuff. Before I start, we need to start also these services or this one, etc., etc. And also there are one services to start all the ones. So this is very, very complex area. So using the very, very classical IFL first binary and followed by argument, in our case, we don't find a way to use it simply like that. So this is about our targets. Then the next steps was, okay, what we want, what's our needs in this fuzzing stuff. First of all, thank you, Captain Obvious, but we would like a further with the ability to work over the network because we work against services and we would like to find some remote crashes. Secondly, we look for a tar we look to not over sorry we would like to avoid modifying the target because uh, as you can imagine, the sub kernel is complicated, and if you start to modify the kernel, you can break the SAP system very easily. And also, if you modify the kernel and you find a crash, maybe the crash you find it's because you modify the kernel. Yeah, it's something like that. So we really would like to have uh, to 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 use the target as completely black box. Like we don't know how it works and we just want to know if it's crash or not. So this is what kind of fuzzer we look for. Also, we look for as possible a simple fuzzer because how knowledge in fuzzing, in coding, etc. It's quite limited because I come from SAP world, this is the thing, and we also would like a fuzzer with maybe we can modify it or we add some module to try to solve the any size problem. Remember the any size problem, it's the first field is the size of the rest. So we would like to further where we are able to modify it. And the last thing, it's we really would like to use the already project because uh, as I said, there are already a lot of tools, a lot of further, and we're pretty sure we will find a match of what we need on the already existing project. And we would like to avoid to add again a new tools or new things, or like, hey, this is a further only for SAP or something like that. We would like to use or maybe to modify, but to use already project. So we make some few research and we have some list like some list of fuzzer we would like to try. So the first one was IFL fuzz, and even using the QEMU mode, even using the penny DSOX, etc. We never achieve you never get a result with IFL fuzz. So we switch to IFL Net. So this is a fork from IFL, and it's look promising because it's work normally over the network. But again, we didn't find the way to solve the any size problem using the IFL Net. So as an example, for the time million uh, test, we try with at the very beginning we try with IFL Net and we never find the crash. The next one on the list was FFW. It looked promising again, but again, we haven't found a way to solve the any size issue. And then the next one was Fuzzotron and Fuzzotron match. Basically, it was simple and the first results appear very quickly. So we decided to go with Fuzzotron. One word about Fuzzotron. So Fuzzotron is maintained by Doi, created and maintained. So thank you very much. And Fuzzotron, it's we for us it looks like simple. So we quickly understand how it's work, and it basically it match everything. So we do not need to modify the target. You can use remotely, of course, or locally on localhost, etc., etc. So we decide to make a test. And, okay, let's go with Fuzzotron and let's try to do what we can do with it. The little cons with Fuzzotron, it's basically it sends packet and it just monitor if the PID of the services is still up, and if the PID disappear, the service crash, it just stop. And there are no very easy post-exploitation or automatic post-exploitation stuff, so you need to script a little to make it whole more automatized, more automatically. So, but this is not very complicated. And also remember one very good point. It's simple and you don't need to install a lot of library or stuff like that. And for us, it's work. We can install it and work with it directly on the SAP system. So it was very good point for us. So we solve the any size problem. So uh, basically, instead of provide the whole packet as a test case, we provide the packet minus the first 4 bytes, so minus the any size field. So and in the Fusotron sources, in the Fusotron code, we had we 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 modified the code just after the mutation and before sending the packet. And what we had is we calculate the new size of the test case, and we had manually the any size. So during our research, I did it in very early directly in sender.c, but since last March, we had this feature basically in standard. So now we just need to modify a file name called callback.c. So this is an example of how we solve the how any size issue. So very not very complicated. The test case, it's the part of the packet already mutated but without the any size, and we calculate the size of this test case and concatenate everything and provide to the fuzzer, and then the fuzzer send this new crafted test case. So like that, we are not dropped by the services during the first check, and we can go deeper in the services like that. And the number of crash starts. So we found very quickly 3 crashes using by only using this any size stuff. So that's a good start, and this is basically why we continue to Fusotron, because we believe, okay, we have this any size stuff working, so we can continue with it. Very quickly, the next feature we would like is to the capability to modify or to fuzz only some parts in the whole packet or on the protocol, on the different protocol. So for this part, I will use IGS as an example. And it is a very good example because this is an IGS packet. So it looks like complicated, but not. Uh, it's possible to guess some part in this packet. So I will try to colorize a little. On the top left, in black, this is the any size, and then it's not very complicated to find some part like the command, what we call the header, followed by the ID, a table. On the left, it's followed by this is XML part, and on the pink, this is an image. In this case, this is a BMP. So we figure out that when we found a crash in this packet very quickly, and the crash appeared in the header part, and we think that because the crash appear in the header part, we think that the services, the binary behind the services process the request, the packet, and one of the first things he do after the any size, etc., maybe he process some field in the header and it crash. And we think that like that, we never go deeper in the packet. So even if you modify some XML part or the BMP or something like that, we very probably it's not working. So what we would like is to modify only, for example, the XML part, the green part. It's not very complicated again, because we can use the callback.c again, but instead of sending the whole packet as a test case for the fuzzer, you only send the part you would like to fuzz, so in our example, the XML part, and you can hardcode, you can calculate it or hardcode the rest of the packet directly in the fuzzer. So if you zoom in the XML part, also you can see that the size of the XML are at the beginning of this part. So also what we would like is to not to not fuzz this part, and we would like to calculate the XML, the right XML length, and to put in the good place. So again, when you're using Fuzzletron, you can code your own things you would like to do before sending the packet. And what we would like is to craft a valid IGS packet. So we hardcode the beginning and the end of the packet. We get the test case. So the test case, it's the XML mutated. And we calculate the size of the XML, we calculate the size of the whole content of the packet, etc., etc. We concatenate everything, and we send it to the services. And we did it. So after that, it is very not complicated to do it for different parts, for if you want to fuzz the image, if you want to fuzz the table, etc., etc. And also it's possible to do it for several services, so not only the IGS, but also we did it for the gateway, the message server, etc., etc. And we find 11 new crashes. So we find a lot of crashes using this technique by precisely fuzzing only this or this part. So this is the example of the function we did for the XML fuzzing. So hard-coded stuff at the beginning, then we calculate the size of the test case. The test case is the XML we provide, and concatenate everything and craft a new packet like that, and send this new packet as a new test case for the fuzzer. So the fuzzer send this valid IGS packet. All right. The next thing it's uh, very usually we would like to we would like to fuzz not the first packet you send to the services, but you want to fuzz different packets in one communication. So for example, we take the SAP gateway in this case. To be very simple, to just simplify the thing, the SAP gateway performs something like end check to the services. So the client send a very tiny packet, something like that. So this is a little packet, and the chance to find a bug in this kind of packet is small because there are not a lot of field and not a lot of thing. But after this end check, the SAP gateway can accept different kind of packet, and the some of these packets are very much interesting because it's bigger. So again, because the package is bigger, it's the chance to find a bug into it. It's more increase a lot than the previous one. So what we would like is to perform this end check, then send this new packet at the test case. And again, it's possible to do it um, uh, because we had the modification before, after the mutation, and before sending the test case in the fuzzer in Fuzzletron. It's good to know that the socket is open. So you can perform any kind of communication you want with the services before sending the malicious one. So this is an example for the SAP gateway. So we send the end check the end check packet. The gateway answer, we don't manage the answer, we don't care about it. Then we can send f- f- um, how mutated test case. And again, if you combine this what we call a setup conversation plus the any size calculation plus the fact that you can fuzz only this on this part in the packet or the gateway packet, we find 3 new crash using this technique, different technique. Okay, the next part, the last part, it's about what we call the collateral crashes. So this is the process list. If you log on an SAP system and you want to list all the process handled by the SAP system, you get something like that. I cut the one we without any interest in this talk, but I just put whole the service, the process involved in the services. So in the green, this is the NQ services. You will recognize the en .sap .sap. So this is the NQ services behind this process. You can also have the message server. This is this one, and there are several other services like the gateway, the ICM, etc., etc. And we spend time on this one. So this one in orange, it's the dispatcher. So the Bob 00 DP for dispatcher. So remember the dispatcher handled the communication with the user. So you use the SAP-GUI, the SAP client to you log to the system, and then when you communicate with the system, you communicate through this dispatcher services. And beyond the dispatcher, as you can see, the dispatcher use several child, and this process, it's called work process in SAP world. So basically, when the user asks for something, they go through the dispatcher. The dispatcher forwards the request to one work process. We don't know exactly which one. Then the work process do the work, answer the request, and back to the user. Um, what we figure out, it's eventually when we fuzz the dispatcher on this PID, and eventually we find that one work process restart. Okay, so of course we really think that it restarted because of us. So we take a look on the trace, and we find that yes, the work process crashed one time during the test, and so we were happy because hey, they are a crash, but we never be able to find which packet, which test case crash the work process, because the further monitors the PID of the dispatcher and continue to work. And like that, the what we call the guilty packet, the malicious packet, is lost. So so that's not very good thing. How the second thing it's interesting to know, it's in this case the work process have each work process have this own trace file. And what we figure out is we are only able to crash the work process type DIA, so DIA. All other type background spool and updates wasn't involved in the crashes. So what we did, it's instead of looking at the PID, we look on the file on the Fuzzertron have this option by default, and we craft a script to concatenate all the work process trace file in one, and we ask to monitor the pattern CStack to find when the work process crash. And we launch our fuzzer, and we praise the sun again, and this time we failed. We failed because the fuzzer stop. So the fuzzer say, oh, I have an entry in the trace file that asks me that one work process crash. But when we try to reproduce the crash by hold the test case send previously, not hold the test case, we are not able to reproduce the crash. Let me explain you why. By default, Fuzzertron generate 100 test case, then send this 100 test case to the services. If the monitor catch something, so if the PID disappear, or if the pattern entry in the log file appear, the Fuzzertron stop, and you can replay, you can use the last 100 sended, last 100 test case. So we figure out that how monitor chain basically take too much time. So the fuzzer send some packet, generate one packet, the malicious one, by luck, and send it to the dispatcher. The dispatcher process the packet, extract the request, forward the request to the work process. The work process crash. The crash is right in the work process log file. How script come and concatenate all the trace file. The fuzzer catch the pattern in the global trace file and stop. So all this process take way too much time. So more than 1,000 packets was sent during this process. So it means what? It means when the further catch the crash, it just stop, back up the last 100 test case, and of course in the last 100 test case there are no the malicious one. So very clever, we solve it by by just increase the number of test case generated by the fuzzer. Of course, if you do it, you lost a lot of performances. But why we decide to do it? It's because uh, uh, the work process crash appear like, I will say, 5 to 10 minutes when you launch the further. So this is very quick, and we decide to have less performance, but to be sure to have some to be sure to replay the crash and to get the guilty packet. So we did it, and again we find 3 new crashes in the how count. So a few demo, a couple of demo I would like to show. So the first one, it's just a demo about the fuzzer running. Let me show you. So on the top, this is the log file where we log all the crashes we get with some timing, and where we back up every packet we got. And on the top left, this is the fuzzer. We will see the fuzzer running, and on the right, this is just a process list of grep with GDB to be sure everything work well. So uh, the further start, and very quickly in this case, after less than 4,000 packets, we found the crash. So we restart the service and we try to replay automatically the last packet sent, but with some delay. This delay, it's to be able us to narrow the number of packet. Then we restart again the services, but this time we attach GDB, and when we launch again the last packet, we have the crash, and we perform some GDB script to have some the backcrash and every information we want. And as a second demo, we'd like to show how it could be how this kind of vulnerability could be exploited very easy. So on the right, this is the SAP system when we run a top on a few services. So you can see the NQ services, gateway, the dispatcher, etc., etc. And on the left, this is the attacker point of view. So we craft a very simple Python script to send each crashes packet on each services. So remotely, without authentication, an attacker can crash the NQ services, the IGS, we make an example with the one work process and the gateway, etc., etc. So everything crash on the other side. Okay, as a conclusion, first slide, it's the result of what we found with using all these techniques. So this is all the crashes on different services. Everything is patches in this patch. SAP released the patch in last June, if I remember. Very quickly, the timeline about this suicide, we start looking during July. So I work on it in July 2020, and remember I was completely new in the fuzzing area, so I tried to understand what is it at the first time. And we decide stopped working on it in September, and after September, I work in on quarter time, maybe half time. It's very depend. It's not very easy to say. Basically, I was involved in several other projects, and we try to reproduce the crash on the last version. We find uh, not different crash, but a lot of whole crashes didn't want on the last version, etc. And also we try to study a lot uh, the whole the crashes to know how it can be exploited or not, or at least we can to provide to SAP a lot of detail about each crash to help us to correct it. I put the Fusertron URL. Again, thank you. And also put the advisory we provide, and you can find all the advisory about the vulnerability we found using the fuzzing technique. And you can find the patch on the SAP URL on the security not SAP URL. The final one. So firstly, in this example, for HUD SAP is in this talk, sorry, the SAP is just an example, and we hope we can provide some information for someone who would like to work with remotely with other custom protocol or custom services. Of course, we do not detail all the little issue we get. We get a lot of little problem that we will solve doing the research. And thank you for all everyone involved in this, especially for Dewey for the Fusion research, Fusion project, and thank you to PSR team. As well, we are a very good relationship together, and thank you to you, Texas Cyber Summit, and I hope we can we can reach you in person. I hope. Yes. So thank you very much. And now I'm waiting for your question. And if you want to contact me or have a off question, I'm also able to answer. Thank you. Bye.